Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Ko-Fi, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
How are you?
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Oh, what's up?
Good morning.
I'm very well, in the pre-show, we've been playing what was actually last night's extended after show that got published on the basis that Adam didn't want to recover a couple of ladies that were covering Flat Earth because we'd covered it whilst we were sat around waiting for QE to turn up to do the book. Now, as is always the case, I'm always recording, and Adam said, well, can you not just put that out as a video? And I said, yeah, I can just stick it out to the members. And then when QE arrived, he's like, no. I want to cover that in its entirety from start to finish if I'm going to cover it. So don't put out your video. So I'm like, okay, I won't then. And I was like, but I don't want to cover it all again, so do put it out. So this kind of went on for quite some time. And the conclusion I came to when I woke up this morning is I won't put it out as a whole video. It's 5 hours long. What I will do is play it in the pre-show so that then at least at some stage it'll get published at the very least to, the general public on a pre-show. So 2 weeks from now, you'll find out the context, depending on whether or not QE does the full entirety of that particular video on today's Quantum Eraser YouTube channel show. So I should really plug that. Let's do that first. Be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel for QE Live. And guests and QE have a jolly good time talking about whatever it is they're talking about that week. So check it out. It's at about 7 p.m. UK time. 1 p.m. Central Standard, I'm going to say. Does that sound about right to you, Neil?
Yeah, it sounds about right. It's either 1 or 2, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, be here or be sphere for the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. The other thing that got discussed in that, what has become a 5-hour members-only show, it wasn't intended to be anything. It was just me sitting around waiting for book editing to happen in front of me while I have, as I've said many times, very little input on this particular stage of the book. But I'm sat around, obviously I've got to be there to witness what's going on. Not that I distrust QE or anybody who's doing the book editing, Adam, predominantly. But like I say, I do have to be there. So for the most part, I'm just sat playing games, which sometimes gets criticised. But, what else can I do other than sit and listen to the book get edited, which is what I'm doing. In any event, there was a suggestion that when we covered Angels of Light yesterday, perhaps the process could have been slowed down. So again, this was mixed attitudes from within the social circle that I inhabit, Nathan Oakley's social circle. So I've got half of the people around me telling me, great job, exactly what needed to happen. If you're going to suddenly disseminate descend your argumentation into the Weiss-like bullshittery, you're on a trail of Ethereum nonsense and you'll be there in no time. And, that's just not for us, so get lost, basically. So people wanted to hear that. But on the other side of that coin, there's people who are like, no, what you should have done was slowed it right down and shown, maybe in the video that was originally aired, why there's a grievance. So there was mixed feelings. Now, the overcome for that is to say, well, I've got a daily show, I can slow it down. Can go through those videos again, and there was a huge amount of meat left on that bone anyway, so we will be doing that today, which is going back to that original video, covering it in more detail. You can go back to the show 3 or 4 days ago if you want to see the original critique and hear indeed Angels of Light talking about the outside edges and extremities of our known world, which he knows, after affirming in the positive when asked. But we've already covered that, so as I was discussing this with Neil just literally 5 minutes ago, I'd rather just carry on. And if people want to hear what I've said previously on this particular video, I don't want to rehash what we've already done. We'll just cover, a bit further into the video, if that makes sense. So that's what's coming up on today's live show. Exciting times. Please share the show if you've not done so already. In the meantime, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, but you got to hear how they get into gravity on this one. It's going to make your head spin.
What, with the Weiss and the grey-haired guy?
Yeah, and David Weiss's answer is the electrostatics. Show up, And this guy's talking about a force. He's a physicist, an engineer, and he's still talking about gravity being a force.
Or any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Eh? Nothing? Well, before we do that, right, I've got something quite rock and roll I'm going to do with my kids. I did mention this in the, strictly speaking, pre-show of today's show because I was playing yesterday's after show in today's pre-show. But nevertheless, I mentioned that the company that supplied this desk that I use, that my mic gets plugged into, doesn't often get a mention. It's like the unsung hero of me being able to flog all these microphones. But it's been, there doing its thing the whole time with a minor fault. And on in a period where there's less going on, I say less going on, it's less critical that I, get in touch with people and swap out desks. I've done exactly that. So I've asked my wife to, actually, because I haven't had time. And they've dutifully said, yeah, we can see that there's a minor fault with this desk. You've not had it long. January, I think I bought it. We'll swap it out. We've got one here. It's discontinued now, but we've got one. We'll swap it for you. Can you destroy the old one? It's just cheaper than sending it to us in the post. Like, destroy it? I'm like, that's pretty rock and roll. It's not exactly smashing a guitar on stage, but the modern equivalent of a guitar amp is probably an audio interface. And this particular one does look very 70s kind of, it's got that guitar cab kind of vibe to it. So I'm going to take a hammer to it with my kids. We're going to put goggles on, take it outside and smash this thing with hammers on video. I'm going to get my wife to film it.
That sounds great, but Adam pissed me off when he said something about Ozzy Osbourne. Listen, it was the Who that smashed their equipment up. The Who.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they'd smash up the guitars and stuff on stage at the end of the concert, which is cool, right? And there was other bands that would throw televisions out of hotel windows and things like that, right? That was 80s.
That was Keith Moon, too.
Keith Moon as
It
well.
was Keith Moon from The Who with, what's his name, that joined the Eagles, Joe Walsh.
Yeah, well, it's very rock and roll. Anyway, smashing stuff up that's equipment for making music, that's what I'll be doing as soon as it comes, which is tomorrow. They've said it'll come. So yeah, I'll smash up my SSL 2 Plus and give a massive shout out to a solid state logic as I do so. I like it when companies look after you. Like, you invest in their product, something goes a little bit wrong, and they're like, yeah, we'll sort you out. Of course. That's great.
Supposed to.
Yeah, but that isn't always the case, right? People don't always sort you out. Anyway, right, should we do a bit more of this Angels of Light thing? It's not Angels of Light, it's Weiss on the way of someone. Way of
Absolutely.
John. The way of Will John. Okay, so yeah, you can check one of the previous Flat Earth debate shows for the bit preceding this, but for now we're going to cover it from the 27-minute mark. Anything anyone wants to add before I press play? Death Daddy?
I'd say just make sure and pay attention to the finer points where Weiss does actually start to kind of, sort of make his point. I think it'd be good for a lot of audience members to see where it is that we are generally disappointed in him when he takes something just to the edge and then backs off. Because I think this guy they're talking to really was about to just have to accept the fact. I mean, they're talking about a mountain that's 7,000 feet tall, and they've, he was just at the point of just going, oh man, well, I guess, I guess the earth has to be flat. There's no curve there. You can't, he was just about there. All David would have to have said was, well, we're seeing it. We see it. So there it is. And it's measured flat. That's all he would have had to done. And he just backs off. And that's so freaking frustrating. I think a lot of the average people who use David a lot and think that he's doing all this stuff good, and they don't see the nuance of what's going on there. So anyhow, that's the long story of why I think that we should point out those sections.
Be able to see that.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
But again, I mean, refraction could not.
Infrared cuts down refraction also. Infrared makes less refraction.
Again, I'm going with these things you're showing me, so I
And as I said, don't believe anything we say.
Understood.
Don't believe anything we say. We're just pointing out these things. And the playlist I'm going to give you, we document it all so you can see that it's all legit. And then you can go out and repeat them yourself if you like.
Well, there are experiments. I mean, there's actually some very simple experiments to prove whether the Earth is a globe or
really?
a plane.
No.
There you go, right there. He's in a category error already.
Correct. Category error. Dave Weiss doesn't know that. Yeah? I've attempted to educate Dave Weiss on this subject specifically. Dave Weiss rejected that education outright. Why? Because there's a conflict of interest with the perpetuation of a nonsense science for ether. So, as a result, Dave rejected what real science was. So let's say how he reacts. The guy's just told him you can do an experiment to validate a what is question about either an aspect of the surface or the shape of a surface.
I'll give you an example. So if you have two buildings that are, say, 50 kilometers apart. So when they...
Okay, so we've got two buildings that are going to be on a flat plane measured with a linear distance apart. 50 kilometers. That's a linear distance on a flat plane using Cartesian systems to measure distance. Okay? So we're on a flat plane straight away with this example, sir.
They build those buildings, plumb bombs.
Plumb bombs, retard. Yeah? Plumb bombs. Okay? Don't make any more examples. Don't talk about science. And why isn't Dave jumping in? Saying, yeah, you've already used a flat earth. Yeah? Plumb. Yeah? Perpendicular to a flat plane. To have plumb, you can only be on a flat plane. It's a prerequisite to describe it. Can't have it globe-shaped. These are axiomatic principles only utilizable on a flat plane. He's using them as his starting point. Dave's not saying anything. It's because Dave's a useless shill only here to earn money. He's not here because he earns money as a consequence of passing on good information. He's just here to bleed money out of people. Otherwise, he'd be pointing out, like I am, that he's using flat earth prerequisites and axioms right now. Parallel? Yeah, you don't have parallel on globes. That's flat earth prerequisite. Perpendicular for plumb. That's flat earth prerequisite. Distance in kilometers. That's linear. You need a flat earth for everything he's just said. Let's see how Dave gets on. Let's see if Dave points out any of this.
The buildings are always built perfectly vertical. So
you're going to need a flat earth to be perfectly vertical to, perpendicular with respect to. That's a flat earth prerequisite.
on a globe.
No, there is no on a globe if you're perpendicular. There is no parallel anything on a globe. On a globe, those principles don't hold water.
The buildings should look like this, right?
Yeah.
No. They should they, Dave? Why are you agreeing with him? So he's being given a principle that doesn't withstand axiomatic scrutiny, and Dave the shithead is agreeing. Oh, really? Where in unholy hell does Dave get the gall to suggest that you can agree with an axiomatic principle being defined? No, he used the word parallel and then said on a globe they'd be pointing away from each other. What axiomatic word describes that, Dave, for you to agree? What you mean is, no, we wouldn't have the prerequisite parallel, plumb, or perpendicular that you described before asking this question, you grey-haired tosser, with your plumb bomb. That's what I'd say to him. But Dave instead agreed. He's a shill, a charlatan, a shithead. I don't want him in our community. The guy's a wanker. You're a wanker, Dave. Why did you agree with him? He's talking about a principle that defies axioms on a globe, and you're agreeing. What a wanker. Now, does anybody appreciate now why my disdain for the stooge Angels of Light, who is alongside this shithead charlatan lying grifter, skimming money off this community, whilst agreeing with things that defy axiomatic principles that prove a flat earth? He's agreeing with something that defies the flat earth proof. That's what he's just done. I don't want him here. I don't want Dave here anymore. You don't belong here, Dave. Go ahead.
Sorry, Nathan. And Angels of Light could have intervened at any time. He knows I was discussed here and laid it out for the guy. The guy was ripe. He was ripe. He was begging for flat earth proof.
Well, he's just given 3 flat earth prerequisites and then said on a globe, buildings face away from each other. What, a complete defiance of the 3 flat earth proving prerequisites you just described before saying it? Wasn't the answer that Dave gave. He agreed. Get out of my community, Dave, you shithead. Go away and leave us all to prove a flat earth without you messing it up from within. That's what you're doing. No, Dave, you don't have buildings tipping apart like the man described to you for you to agree with him. Why are you agreeing? Who's with me? Why the hell is this man in my community? Why are you here, old man? Retire, you're a dumbass.
Right? So at 50
I know where you're going with this. I know where
You're laughing about it. You're not pointing out that he's utilising 3 flat earth prerequisites. Instead, you've agreed with him and are now laughing about it. You're a shill. Get out of my community, Dave Weiss, you shill. Don't laugh about this. This is a freaking outrage. Don't give this man money. Ever. Delete his app. Demand a refund. Because he's not here to prove a flat earth to you. When he's offered them on a plate in the form of prerequisites, parallel, perpendicular, and a plane of reference for a distance in kilometres, he's not agreeing or pointing that out. Shill. Scumbag. Grifter. You're just here for the money, Dave. That's the only reason you're here. Because there's money here. Because people have got money, therefore you can have it off them talking about what they love. And I'm sick of you. You con man. Frickin' grifter. In a community that I love. It's an outrage. It's disgusting that you should even be considered a flat earther. You're not. You're a con man.
you got this from too, and
He's got this one, has he? Defying axiomatic principles that prove a flat earth. He's got it, has he? He's got it covered, has he, Dave? Shill, grifter, con man, get lost. Get out of my community. Not Dave's. Yeah? Of course, Dave's the one with all the popularity, because he's helping our opponents.
and it's been done. The World Trade Towers were built right next to each other, right? Yeah. And on a globe, the top should be...
So Dave's now the flat earther talking about what things do on a globe. Shill, conman, grifter, arsehole. No, Dave, axiomatically they can't be next to each other, parallel, unless they're on a plane. How far apart were they? In a measured linear distance, proving a flat earth. Isn't what Dave's saying. He's now launching into examples of what they do on a globe. Making sure the argument stays alive. We're trying to kill it. He's resurrecting it. I hate Dave Weiss. You're a scumbag, Dave. Yeah, you don't deserve the title Flat Earther. Flat Earth Dave, shill Dave, scumbag Dave, grifter Dave, con man Dave. You're a con man. Why are you launching into what a globe does? Why would you ever call yourself a Flat Earther?
Farther apart than the bottoms. But
Oh, would they? Is that what it'd do on a globe, would it, Flat Earth Dave?
they weren't. But you can't measure accurately 50 miles.
Sure you can.
Sorry, you can't measure 50 miles unless Earth's flat, Dave. Flat Earth miles, he gave it you in kilometres, you stupid retard that can't keep up with what he gave you. He gave you a distance in kilometres, not in miles. Dave's a spastic, he can't even listen to his opponent, let alone address the Flat Earth evidence he didn't even hear. He heard miles when the guy gave him kilometres for how far apart the buildings were. Now, Dave's completely ignored everything the man said, literally everything, and launched into what it should do on a globe. As a flat earther, that's what he just did. Meanwhile, he wasn't even listening to the guy's example, was he? You want this man, Dave Weiss, to be your representative as a flat earther. He's a con man. Meanwhile, Earth is measured flat. I'd be rubbing this grey-haired old sod's face in it. He's the one who brought up kilometres. They're linear. We measure them and utilise them daily. They're a fact of friggin' life, and we require Earth be flat to use them. That's why the maps are flat and the scales are flat. Because they're a flat linear distance measurement. And yet measurements of miles are a flat Earth proving prerequisite. Is Dave pointing this out, or is he laughing and giving you how things should work on a globe? Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. This shithead of a flat Earth shill, Dave Weiss, is telling you, the audience, how it should work on a globe. Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen? Ostracise this con man from your life.
You could
get a grip. That's what you could do, sir. You could find the words to form a sentence.
Okay, when you use lasers and stuff like that, that might introduce issues such as refraction and things like that. But you could use those super highly accurate civil engineering GPSs. What you do...
A GPS on a Cartesian system. GPS that uses miles and kilometres also. For accurate, linear, flat distances. GPS is flat. Now let's see if Dave, the shield, the con man, the grifter, the guy who's here to help our opponents prop up the idea there's an argument to be had here. There isn't. Both sides are talking about things that require Earth to be flat. It's just one man, Dave, is talking about how it would work on a globe, while simultaneously failing to point out every flat Earth prerequisite that his opponent's given him. That's because Dave's only here for the money. He's not here to prove a damn thing. If anything, what he's actually here to do is remind you how, quote, it would work on a globe, end quote, flat Earth, shill, shithead, to be ostracised, Weiss. Get him out of our community. Go to his fucking comments and tell him to get lost. Say, get lost, Dave, you're not a flat earther. All you do is tell us how it should work on a globe, end quote, you. Go and tell him to get lost. So get out of our community, Dave Weiss. We're sick of you telling us how things should work on a globe. We don't need you telling us how it'd work on a globe. We need you pointing out how every single example out of this man's mouth required Earth to be flat. That's what we need, Dave Weiss. And we're sick of you. Just bleeding us dry for money, you fucking grifter. Get lost. Go and sell some shit. Go and sell double glazing. Because that's what you are, Dave. You're nothing more than a double glazing salesman.
You go 50 kilometers apart to...
You'll need a flat Earth to go 50 kilometres apart. Now you managed to actually rustle the intelligibility to put a full sentence together. You've just proved a flat Earth with the only sentence that was complete.
Two nearly identical buildings. And if the Earth was a globe, they should do this. So you put one of those super tracker GPSs on the base.
So we put one of the flat Earth Cartesian system using GPS trackers on the base of a building that utilises level terrain to be erected. And we're going to go to a different building that's a flat Earth linear 50 kilometres away. Yet you've proven a flat Earth 3 times over. Dave Weiss is just telling us how he knows how he's going to give his next globe evidence and how it should work on a globe.
Of each of the buildings, you measure the distance. They're
Well, then you proved the flat Earth when you measured the distance in linear kilometers.
accurate within like 2 or 3 centimeters. They're
Really? So you're accurate within 2 or 3 centimeters, also linear, will be flat Earth proving in terms of how flat and linear that centimeter will be. Because it can only be flat. It's a linear tool for measuring distance, in this case, centimeters and kilometers. Yeah, you're going to need a flat Earth for that, sir. So before we go any further, get on your fucking knees and acknowledge how flat Earth must be for your shithead, stuttery, incoherent example that Dave Weiss isn't highlighting because he's a grifter and a con man and a shill and only interested in getting to the end of this process so he can plug his app. That's the only reason Dave's here. He's not here to tell you about flat Earth proving kilometres or centimetres. No. He's just playing for time until he can shill his app. Because that makes him money, doesn't it? Yeah, he's not proving Earth's flat, people. Go and tell him. Nathan says get lost. Nathan says you're not welcome here. Nathan, the one who proves Earth's flat with kilometres, over and over again, when critiquing the shit that you presented to audiences with a newbie who self-confessed doesn't know anything about flat Earth. Yeah, that's what Dave Weiss is here to do, to fuck things up royally from within. And he's achieving it greatly. So it's up to you now, audience, to go and dispense with the shill known as Dave Weiss. Tell him to get lost. Make it abundantly clear that you're unsubscribing from his shitty channel. Make it abundantly clear that you no longer support him in anything he does, because what he does is of detriment. Make that obvious to shill Dave Weiss when he tells you this is how it should work on a globe. Tell him you don't want him here anymore to tell you how it should work on a globe. We've advanced beyond people who are just here to con money out of a community. People who are only here playing for time till they can shill their app. People who don't concern themselves with pointing out flat Earth prerequisites. That's Dave the con man Weiss, and I'm sick of him being here. I'm sick of Jaron, I'm sick of Ranty, I'm sick of all of these shill con men who pretend to be flat earthers. They're not. I am.
They're crazy accurate. And then you take the same GPS and
Crazy accurate on a flat Earth. It's linear.
you put it on the top of the buildings.
Top of the building measured off a flat Earth. Height. Altitude measured off a flat Earth with respect to sea level. Flat Earth proving prerequisite number 4.
Now,
You proved the flat Earth 4 times, should be the words coming out of Dave the Shill, con man grifter's mouth. They won't be. They're coming out of my mouth, which is why no one's watching me. Which is why I don't get recommended. Which is why I absolutely and completely rely on people sharing this. My rage and frustration at a con man, Dave Weiss. It's the same rage I had for Angels of Weiss yesterday. Same exact rage. Because I'm sick of it. I love this community. Dave doesn't. He loves money.
there should be a difference of 50 miles probably.
Linear miles, flat Earth prerequisite, flat Earth proving. You can only have this distance if Earth is measured flat. And it is! Every map ever, every scale ever, every marked mile ever, all linear. Without exception, we will require Earth to be flat for this. Yeah?
Probably from the top and the bottom of both buildings, maybe.
Measured off a flat plane. Your prerequisite number 4, my friend. You keep reiterating flat Earth prerequisites to demonstrate how accurate you can be.
A meter or 2, and
Flat Earth prerequisite number 3. Yeah, they'll be linear.
that should be easily measurable. So
On a flat Earth. Yeah, and only on a flat Earth. Are we all clear, audience? Dave's a shill. He's a con man, he's a grifter. He's only waiting for his time to sell his app. What am I doing? Every second word this man says proves a flat Earth. And I'm screaming it at you as an audience. Yeah? I'm doing it literally till I'm blue in the face. Proving a flat Earth. What's Dave doing? He's just counting the clock down till he can tell you to give him money. That's all he's waiting for.
that would be an experiment that
Not an experiment. Category error. Flat Earth prerequisite measurements are not experiments.
should should be.
Did you hear that, Dave? Well, your stuttery opponent that you're not affirming the flat Earth using prerequisites that he's got for you. Yeah, Dave, yeah? Can you hear this? It's not science, you scammer. Do you remember shutting me down while I tried to educate you in this, Dave, you scammer? Yeah? You were more interested in covering your boy Witsit's back and Jaren's back for your ether con. Because that uses quite a lot of science lies, doesn't it, Dave? So you weren't interested in hearing what science was when I tried to tell you, were you, Dave? You shut me down, didn't you, Dave? Yeah? Told me all about your boat that you paid for with the money that you conned out of flat earthers. Yeah? Should we go and have a little look at Dave's messages to me about his boat that he pays for with all the money he cons out of you lot, my audience and his? You call yourself a flat earther, my audience? Yeah, Dave laughs at you. Every time he took your money for his app, he laughs at you because he goes away on his boat that he pays for with it, knowing full well that he isn't giving you a damn thing for that app. Just a way of bleeding money from you. And when he has an opportunity to learn what science is, he rubs that boat that you, my audience, and his paid for in my face, rather than actually learning what science is so he can address this stuttery twat. Nah, Dave didn't want to know what science was because it competes with a different grift. The ether grift.
Pretty easy to do. You just need to get your hands on those. I think they're called. I don't have a.
I don't know if it's going to be a single sentence ever that comes complete from this man.
Yeah, there's super high precision. They use them in civil.
Super high precision what? Sentence fragment.
Engineering. They're good within a couple of centimeters.
Oh, so they'll be requiring a flat Earth then. That's a linear distance, isn't it, you stupid old man? Yo, idiot! You've just proven a flat Earth with how accurate your centimetres will be. You won't be doing that on a curved surface they're a linear distance. You stupid retard. So you will require my flat Earth I demand you should be on your knees acknowledging. Yeah, and that's what you get from me too, you stuttery old tosser. Get on your knees and acknowledge how Earth must be flat for this accuracy you're professing. Yeah? Oh yeah? It'll be a very accurate linear distance, will it? On your knees! Acknowledge how Earth must be flat for this accuracy you feign. For a globe. Which it isn't. On your knees! What's Chuckles Dave the Shill gonna do?
So that way, if the tops of the buildings and the
tops, as in measured off a sea level, flat Earth surface level, flat Earth prerequisite number 4 that Dave hasn't mentioned, because he's a grifter, a con man, a shill. He's not interested in proving Earth's flat to his audience.
The bottom of the building have the same
bottom, what, closer to surface level?
Distance than the Earth is.
A flat surface plane for the linear distances you've just described and heights above surface level. Yeah, you use quite a few flat Earth prerequisites, mate. I'm the one pointing them out. Not your shill, con man, grifting, wise opponent.
What are you smiling at?
Have a look at
flat. If there is a difference between the top and the bottom, then the Earth is
a flat plane to measure the difference off a surface level that you must have in order to measure that difference. Man, there's a lot of F's and S's in that. Just about managed it while I'm trying to half-read a super chat. Thanks for exposing these shills and showing us Earth is measured and utilised flat. Everybody does it. He's doing it. Dave Weiss would do it. Dave Weiss will whistle straight past it. He'll allow his opponent to use it and then suggest that those very accurate linear flat Earth measuring distances somehow prove a globe. Dave will allow that. It's because he's only interested in money. Dave Weiss, that is. He's a con man and a grifter and a shill. Here to bleed you personally, Vidali, of money. I mean, no doubt that you bought his app, Vidali. Yeah, that's Dave Weiss conning you. Being a con man, a fraud, a grifter, a shill. A con man only interested in money, because if he wasn't, he'd be proving Earth's flat and pointing out the category error this man's using when he suggests that the accuracy on a flat Earth in centimetres that he's appealing to isn't science. Dave Weiss wasn't interested. He was more interested in rubbing in my face how good his boat that he paid for with your money is. Oh, got the whirly whirl.
A globe.
What do you say, Angel?
Well, you
bear with us while we while we have
I
the
remember
word.
though, we've done observations like I've got a.
So this guy's a newbie. This guy came on our show yesterday and said, I don't know why you're having a go at me. I'm a new flat earther. I don't know anything.
can share it
Dave
if you want.
just
I'll
needed
put
a
on screen
stooge,
just to
though.
show-
Dave needed this stooge. Yeah? This lying stooge that didn't know anything to back him to make Dave seem more credible. Yeah? So I don't know what Dave's doing. He's not vetting the stooges he sits next to, because the guy came to us yesterday, admitted to being a bullshitter, and then said, oh, it's only because I'm new. I've only been on your show 5 times. Therefore, lying through my back teeth's okay. Yeah, that's the level of critique that Dave gave this guy before putting him in front of thousands of people.
But just one other thing is how tall this building, because at 50 miles,
Sorry, how tall the building is, Dave, will be measured off a surface level and require a flat earth to do so. Are you going to point that out, Dave, you shill, you con man, you grifter? Are you just here to Jew as much money out of people as you possibly can? Is that your only purpose?
could the buildings even see each other?
Sorry, the buildings don't have eyes, Dave, you fucking retard. They don't have eyeballs, they don't have eye sockets, they don't have skulls or brains, they can't function images. They're buildings. You're a fucking retard. Go and tell Dave he's a retard. Go to his comments and tell him. Buildings can't see each other, Dave. Yeah? They don't have the capability of sight. You total spastic. That is called anthropomorphization. Dave is anthropomorphizing buildings and giving them human-like qualities. Retard. You don't represent me, Dave. You're a retard. You've just anthropomorphized buildings and asked whether or not they can see each other.
And if we do see them, doesn't that prove that the Earth is not curved?
Well, according
Right, if you measure a distance that the opponent was just talking about at length while he stuttered his way through half sentences, you'd understand that your non sequitur example in response ignored every flat Earth prerequisite you man's just used here. Dave, you useless twat! Why are you in my community, Dave, you useless twat? I hope my audience is in your comments telling you this. That's bugger off, you useless twat. Why are you even here? Oh, it's to con us out of money. Yeah? Because you're good at that, aren't you, Dave? Yeah? Good at monetising us. Yeah? Good at bleeding money out of us, yeah? Where's the flat Earth proof then, Dave? You're supposed to be flat Earth, Dave. All you've done is told us so far what would happen on a globe.
to your theory, you should be able
Theory? No, theory comes after experimentation if you understood what science is. Dave definitely doesn't. He's not going to correct you on this.
to see them. But again,
Right, theory about seeing things, the anthropomorphized buildings.
and we introduce things like refraction and things like that.
Refraction? What refraction? There's no difference in mediums that we've described in anything you two idiots have discussed. So what refraction? What are you babbling about? Neither of you two idiots know what refraction is. I absolutely assure you of that.
But if you take the optics out of it and you
Sorry, if we take the optics out of the two buildings that Dave just anthropomorphized seeing each other.
use those, you use GPS.
So we're going to use a Cartesian flat system that requires linear distance measurement on a flat plane. Cartesian in nature, flat in nature. Okay, so we're going to need a flat Earth for this then, you old tosspot. Let's see if Dave points that out. Or if Dave's just here to con and shill flat earthers for money. Because it's going to be that false dichotomy. Either he points out that we've got flat earth prerequisites in what this man said, or he's a con man.
Then you're not really invoking any refraction or light issues or
What, when we measure linear distances on Cartesian systems? No, that's right, dude. If we use GPS Cartesian flat systems, we don't invoke refraction, but we weren't anyway. You, a fuckwit, don't know what refraction is. Dave, a con man, a grifter, a shill, he doesn't know what it is either.
laser measurements or anything like that. You
Laser measurements that will give you accurate linear centimetres. Flat.
could actually get a pretty accurate fix on them.
Yeah, on a flat earth for the linear distances that you'll read off that tool.
Well, Matthew, on screen, can you see my screen that I'm sharing?
Sorry, why are you taking charge of this conversation? You came on my show yesterday and pointed out that you're just a fucking newbie and you don't know anything, Angels of Light. But yet you seem to be taking charge of this discussion like you're some sort of expert. You're not. You're a lying shitbag. That's what you actually are. That was demonstrated here yesterday to my audience. But yet you're taking charge of this discussion like you've got something to say. Why aren't you just claiming that you're a newbie? Or is that only when people point out that you're a bullshitter that you suddenly appeal to how new you are? Right here, right now, in front of this man, you're going to profess to being some sort of freaking expert, are you, Angels of Light? Yeah, you're just like Weiss, aren't you? Just another con man.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is Chicago skyline across Lake Michigan. This is 57 miles in distance away from the observer.
Welcome to Flat Earth. The distance, if claimed, measured, would be flat and linear. Did this newbie point that out? Dave, why have you got this newbie here? He doesn't seem to be pointing out that the measurement he's appealing to is a flat Earth prerequisite. Instead, he's just coming on my show after the fact and getting told off for being a lying shitbag just like you. You recruited this man, eh, Dave? He's just a newbie. That's what he told me. After you vetted him? No, you didn't vet him, did you, Dave? You just needed a stooge for your con. It didn't really matter how good he was. And him coming to me and telling me he's new doesn't matter, even no one's going to see that either, are they? Me pointing out that Dave recruits shitheads that lie to be stooges for his con. That's not going to be heard much either because I get censored. Dave, who's a grifter and a charlatan and a con man in this Flat Earth community, he gets promoted. No censorship affecting Dave.
Now, this was taken at Grandmere State Park across to Lake Michigan. They're both elevated. If you
Really? So Flat Earth prerequisite number 4 from your opponent that hasn't been pointed out. We're going to whistle past this in an example that keeps the idea that there's an argument between Flat Earth and Globe Earth alive, while we whistle past all Flat Earth prerequisites so far too from this newbie, self-confessed lying shitbag, Angels of Weiss. Whoops.
if you calculate the so the observer height is 600 feet above sea level, and
So Flat Earth proven. So he's going to whistle past it just like I predicted.
Chicago skyline, the base.
Yep, we're going to talk about Chicago skyline so we can argue about it like it's a Flat Earth versus Globe Earth argument, with refraction being the obvious shill topic of the day that's going to be used. He's already said it 4 times. Meanwhile, we're going to use Flat Earth heights off sea level to describe this example, to keep it alive in the idea that we're not measuring a Flat Earth for heights off sea level. This seems pointless. This seems like it only serves one purpose, keeping an idea that there's an argument to have alive. Dave Weiss is a shill. So is Angels of Light. They're here keeping an idea that there's an argument to be had alive, whilst ignoring the Flat Earth measuring facts that they are utilising in their example. Height off surface level proves Earth's flat. Distance in kilometres or miles proves Earth is measured flat. Maybe if we just ignore that and talk about how Chicago skyline shouldn't be there on a globe, it'll seem like this argument's still alive.
Is 577 feet above sea level.
But then we've got a Flat Earth to measure to give us this description of height above sea level. That's the end of the argument. Unless we've got shills that are only here to grift money out of us, that can then take that Flat Earth proving fact and move forward like there's an argument to have with the Flat Earth measurements that have just been used.
So you minus that to get the actual height above sea level, which is...
Do we? So we're definitely going to be calculating with measurements on a Flat Earth then, are we, you shill, shitbag, lying scum, Angels of Weiss?
23 feet, and then you add 6 foot for the camera height, and you get 29 feet. Now...
Really? That's absolutely fascinating. So we've proven Earth's flat with our heights off surface level.
At this distance, there should be over 1,600 feet of curvature.
This man has just told you how much Earth curve there should be, end quote him. Exclude these wankers from your life! He's just told you how much ball there should be. Are you hearing me, audience? There's 81 of you. There's a tiny number of you that are actually getting this message. Weiss and Angels of Weiss are telling you how bally it should be with Flat Earth measurements. Yep, that's right. They're telling you how ball-shaped it should be with Flat Earth measurements that they don't point out can only work on a Flat Earth. They'll, even without a hint of irony, use the term sea level for the heights. They're not going to mention that that's game over. No, they'll carry on like there's a freaking argument going on. There isn't. That's the point. Go ahead.
Nathan, you got... Well, good morning.
Morning.
Second of all, I don't know, just to contrast you from, the seems like the cardiac arrest you're having over these guys. You got to understand, like, that you can't have the new hotness if you don't have the old and busted, right? The old and busted is you're supposed to have blah, 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 this amount of ball. The new hotness is Earth is measured flat. You got to have that contrast. And there are going to be people who are going to want to hear that. So I understand your frustration, and these guys suck. But yeah, they're just gonna run around and keep doing that. And like you said, to keep the idea that there's some sort of a debate alive, I completely agree with that. But yeah, you got to have the old and busted so that you can appreciate the new hotness. That's all I'll say on that.
Sure. It just seems like we figured out a year ago, approximately, that the old and busted is extremely beneficial to our opponents, because the old and busted is the only way our opponents get to have the discussion. Without the old and busted, there is no discussion of a globe. There's only the flat Earth measurements. So therefore, keeping the old and busted going is our opponent's best chance of keeping their argument in this race at all.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But what you're saying is, it's just the old guard. Dave Weiss is just the old guard doing the old and busted. Yeah, and maybe I'd have some empathy for that if I hadn't gone out of my way to educate him, Jaron, Ranty, Jose, all of these wankers, these turncoats, these shills. And when I do, they turn around and rub it in my face and call me a scammer. That's what's happened consistently for 5 years. I try and help Dave Weiss, and he rubs in my face how he's scamming people for app money for his boat. That's literally the facts. You've seen the messages, right, Chocolate?
Yes, and that's why I can understand the vitriol. You have complete pass on that for me.
The pass for the audience's benefit. Yeah, this isn't just like over dramatized, me making it seem like no, Dave is paying for his boat with the money he gets from your app. This is a fact he rubbed in my face while I tried to educate him on science. So he could have taken the win with this dude that he's talking to now. He wasn't interested in the win. He was interested in making sure I knew that your money paid for a boat that he was entertaining Witsit and Jaron on. Yeah, that's right, Jaron, the turncoat, the guy that's now telling everyone we're all idiots. Yeah, that we just don't understand while he talks to Simon Dan. Yeah, Dave Weiss is entertaining him on a boat you paid for with the money that he got from you to entertain those shills on his boat. That's right. He rubbed that fact in my face rather than taking a lesson in what science and the scientific method is. Those are the facts of this matter. Dave is a charlatan. He is only here to help our opponents, and he'll literally entertain him on a boat you paid for.
Now, that top building there, the tallest one, Willis Tower, that's only 1450 feet high.
Off a flat Earth.
So the top of that building, tallest
measured off a flat Earth that we're going to whistle past.
One that you're seeing there should also be below the curve.
Oh, sorry. So we're not going to point out that the height we're measuring, the only measurement being discussed, the only thing being measured, proves a flat Earth. What Angels of Weiss has just done is told you how much Earth curve should be there. I'll just say it again so we're absolutely abundantly clear. Cut them out of your life. They're not helping you. Dave has intentionally put this person in front of this audience to tell them how globe-shaped it should be. Because that's precisely what he's doing whilst ignoring all flat Earth proof. Those are the facts in this matter. Shout out again to V. Dilly, who says, how would you suggest we use the Black Swan argument without bringing up no drop over distance over a falsified globe radius of 3959 miles? I mean, the 5-year-old argument that is the Black Swan was, and I quote, the last time we begged the question. Oh, right, we must assume a globe was told to us preceding 2020. You must assume alongside us that Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959. our response, okay, if we must assume Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And the black swan shows the distance to horizon measurement beyond that physical limitation as denoted by the oil rigs at a set, fixed, linear, flat Earth proving distance. Now in 2025, I've got a flat, linear distance. That's it. I don't need anything else. Now, our last chance saloon, the Black Swan, for begging the question of a globe, something that our opponents insisted we did up until 2020, was demonstrate that even if we, your opponents on the globe, begged the question with you, in our modus tollens logical consistency that undoes the assumption in the pre-stated section with an assumption of an Earth sphere radius 3959. That's a modus tollens logical consistency that, to my knowledge, has never been accurately used by these shills, Dave Weiss or any of these people. They don't use the Black Swan. They feign an attempted use of the Black Swan and then tell you how bleeding big a ball would be. That's what they actually do. They never tell you that the distance measured claimed by Earth curve maths, and then lay it out at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, is violated in the Black Swan picture because we have a set fixed distances by way of oil rigs cemented to the seafloor. Dave Weiss ain't pointing that out. We don't have to either. Why? Because if we're going to appeal to the Earth curve maths, we could easily point out that there's a surface level and parallel eye level in it. Far quicker, you want to appeal to Earth curve maths, perspective hijacking in nature. Why? The surface level in it. There you go. You want to appeal to this maths that suggests there's an Earth curve. Well, then you'll need to measure surface level. What's that? You don't want to admit there's a surface level? Well, then get rid of your maths then. I don't care. Oh, what, you do want to use surface level because it's in your maths? Welcome to flat Earth. Oh, you don't want to be welcome to flat Earth? You do want to use your maths that uses surface level, but you want me to ignore that your maths uses surface level. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you use your maths and ignore surface level. I know it's got surface level in it. It's right there in the maths parallel with eye level. You don't have to fricking like it, but Earth will be measured flat for an assertion that the Black Swan utilises as a last chance saloon in 2020 for the ballers to beg the question that we have a sphere Earth radius 3959. That's not now. It's 2025. Earth's measured flat with every example you can ever show anybody ever, including but not limited to Earth curve maths. I've done it with these numpties examples. They're pointing out how Chicago skyline should be behind Earth curve. What, when you measure a linear distance on a flat Earth? When you have a parallel eye level with surface level? When you infer that there's a distance to a geometric horizon because at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height off a flat Earth, you can infer a geometric obstruction? No, you're going to need your height off a flat Earth! And I will say it till I'm blue in the face, because that's what I do. My name's Nathan Oakley. I'm not here just for the money. I scrape a living out of flat Earth. And I'm tired of it, while I've got wanker Dave Weiss rubbing in my face that he's conned my audience and many others who've been corralled into a nice little group to be disbanded by his shill compadre, Jeren, who got a ticker tape parade, according to another shill. Yeah? These people are all in cahoots and all doing quite nicely. They've got frickin' boats! Me, I've got to do 3 jobs. I've got to try and write a book, I've got to try and flog microphones, and I've got to try and keep a heavily censored YouTube channel afloat. That's what I've got to do, just to sustain myself. Dave Weiss is laughing in the sun on a frickin' boat, entertaining people who will later go on to tell you that Earth's a ball. That's Jeren. That's what Dave Weiss is doing. The guy's laughing it up. Why the hell shouldn't I have utter disdain for him? I hate the man. How dare he glean one dime out of this community that I love, I've built, I've proven the facts in the matter to my audience, for him to fuck it up, take everything that I do and ruin it for money. to profit from it. It's a complete outrage. How dare he? You really triggered me, Chocolate. It's your fault. It's not.
Oh yeah, I was the one that.
On this observation.
What is the observer height here?
When you
What's the observer height? So one of the flat Earth prerequisites, number 4 in your case, sir. You need to know that, do you? Yeah, you will for your Earth curve maths, like in response to Vardalee. Yeah, you need a flat Earth prerequisite.
do the calculation above sea level,
So we're going to need a flat Earth to get this answer. Yeah? We all hearing this? I'm not making it up. These people aren't interested in proving flat Earth.
it's 29 feet.
That's not
That's a flat Earth proof right there, yeah.
a sea. Isn't that a lake?
Is it level, the sea?
What's the calculation above? How high are they above the lake?
Yes, that's
Above sea level, in terms of height above the surface level that we'll be measuring. The only measurement that's taking place so far is our height.
what I need to know.
Because
Yeah, we need to know this height of surface level. Yeah, we do, yeah.
sea level doesn't matter, and a lot of
So Dave Weiss, let's just go on camera to do this. We'll listen to it again while I prepare myself so I can say it as calmly as possible, right? Let's just listen to Dave Weiss in response to the flat Earth proving prerequisite sea level, the only measurement that's being taken place, that I'm literally screaming till I'm blue in the face is a proof of a flat Earth. Let's hear what Dave Weiss has got to say about that.
That's not a sea. Isn't that a lake?
what's the calculation above? How high are they above the lake?
Yes, that's what I need to know.
Because sea level doesn't matter, and
Unsubscribe from David Weiss. Go and tell him Nathan Oakley sent me to unsubscribe to you, Dave Weiss, because you told me sea level, a flat Earth proving prerequisite used in all measurements, in every example you use, doesn't matter. So I'm unsubscribing because you're a shill con man and you're only here to get money out of us because you're not interested in proving flat Earth. In fact, when there's a flat Earth prerequisite on the table and being used for measurements, you say, quote, it doesn't matter. You're a con man. Just let him know.
Honestly.
Nathan Oakley sent me to tell you, Dave Weiss, that I'm unsubscribing, and tell him the reasons why. Good.
I honestly can't believe he just said that. Like, that's crazy. Sea level doesn't matter. Okay, Dave. I'm sorry, flat Earth, Dave. Sea level doesn't matter, Dave. Okay.
Yep. Sea level doesn't matter. I'm screaming it. Dave saying it doesn't matter. Unbelievable.
He also says science changes. What are you, 10 minutes into this video? You're never going to get through it.
I don't really care what he says about science. The flat Earth Dave just said sea level doesn't matter in any
He's
context.
not a flat earther.
That's crazy. But you don't see I'm pointing out the irony. Because that's crazy. Good morning, Brian. What's up, man?
Hey, just for the purpose of the audience, I think around that area they take the heights off of surface level, off of lake level, off of Lake Michigan. I think they take it off of there. Like there's a known height to Lake Michigan above sea level, and they take the heights then for buildings and for anything else from that lake.
Oh, my bad.
No.
So you're saying because there's a one step removed from flat Earth prerequisite sea level in the form of lake level, but they know the lake level because they know how high it is off sea level, right, Brian?
yeah, that's how they can do it. Like it's a bit like what's his name, Al Biruni, taking the height of a mountain off a lake. He had to have known the height of that lake off the sea level. Now, I'm not saying David Weiss is going to say that, right? I don't know what he's going to say, but just had to throw it out there for people. Now, as far as I know, that is what they do. Because Lake Michigan is pretty big.
Sure, but the fact that it has to be level and the fact that it's referenced to sea level is a flat Earth prerequisite for all height measurements in all instances, always. And as I'm saying, they're not pointing that out, are they?
And that's the frustrating part of this. This guy is ready for it. He is absolutely ready for it.
Right.
Now, you can't geometrically get heights off of curved surface. You have nothing to reference.
Yeah,
You have no way to compare heights, no anything. It can't be done.
I don't know what you guys talk about. Sea level doesn't matter.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right, with that, I'm going to say, if you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming stream, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.